Are you someone that consistently struggles working on your goals? Do you feel sporadic motivation or perhaps feel guilty if you don't get what you planned done? In the next few minutes, I'm going to share some thoughts on how to recapture and maximize that momentum and your energy levels to continue compounding your life skills and meet your goals. I'm Taylor, and this is the Lioneye podcast, where we share life philosophies and mental models to keep our days pumping. Now, to kick us off, I want to briefly touch on compounding, as I don't think it's well understood, but it's playing out all around us in all areas of our life all the time. It's typically talked about in the finance world, and it's basically the reinvestment of the gains on your investments. So when you reinvest those gains, you now get the yield on that reinvested money in addition to the original investment. So over time, the compounding function is exponential. A classic portrayal of this function is the story of starting with 1 penny at the beginning of the month and doubling that penny every day. How much money would you have after 1 month or 30 days? It's over 5 million. So the power of compounding is extremely important to internalize. And the coolest part about compounding with our lives is that we get to choose the investment. Let me say that again. We get to choose the investment. We might not always choose the yield, but we get to choose the investment. And if you're always investing a lot, if you're investing more every period, you're going to compound really quickly. Now that we've covered compounding, let's talk about goals and motivation. Think back to a moment when you felt a spurt of strong motivation to do a particular activity or passion. If you acted on it immediately, you went into a flow state and pumped out a lot of work into that task, right? But I guarantee there's many other times you were busy and decided to do it later. And when later came, you didn't feel like that same energy, that same spark. Well, herein is the first key. Motivation and energy are fleeting, even for your passions, even for things that you're very interested in. The best time to act is when you feel that motivation, when you feel that energy. I don't care where you are. If you feel a spark, do what you can with what you have to fulfill that motivation. Now, another factor at play is our recency bias. As humans, we're so ingrained in our habits that it can be tough to consistently do what we're inconsistently doing. This is why it's so important to work on your goals daily, even if you don't get much done, because every little win adds up. So putting it all together, how do you capture your energy and momentum and continue compounding? You have to realize and be aware of the volatility of your motivation and capture it and utilize it when it's at its highs. Don't let it fade. And you also want to be consistent daily in working toward your goals, because the reinforcement of progress helps with positive recency bias, which supports motivation the following day. It's an effective flywheel, and optimizing it is one of the best things you can do, because you'll have physiological volatility in energy levels that will also influence you. And no matter how small or big your progress, you'll be applying compounding, which applies for even the smallest of things. To really visualize and internalize that principle, think about a time you had to execute a defined process. For example, data entry. The more you did it, the faster you'd become and develop systems and other continuous improvement to the process to increase your efficiency. So you compounded gains in that process. Again, this is happening in all areas of your life, with hard skills like sports or woodworking, soft skills like communication skills or body language skills, and all the work toward your goals and achievements. What do you think about this topic? Does this fit with your experience? I want to hear about it. Put it in the comments below, and let's go get after that compounding. I'll see you next time.